The rivalry is back on.
What's up, Colts Nation? This is Derek Larger. I am going to be your host today on the Cody Felger podcast, and today we introduce our new segment, Hold Your Horses. With this segment, I rant about a topic within Colts Nation that I think deserves to be talked about. I will admit, I do have a tendency to rave and to rant whenever a topic gets to me. So hopefully, the topics in this segment will be entertaining, but also insightful for you. If this segment starts taking off, we may start asking you for your opinions on what I think Colts fans should hold their horses about in the future. Before we begin this topic, this is a two-part segment for this week, with the first part being the more important matter. I was planning to release this segment last week on the Cody Felger podcast, but new information came out just before we uploaded it, so we decided to withhold it from last week. So even though this segment will not be 100% of what I want it to be this week, this is my best of both topics right now, and I will be better prepared the next time around I do this. Hopefully, no spur of the moment news happens on me again an hour before uploading the segment. Alright, on to the topic of conversation. You know, there are a lot of false narratives out there about the Colts. Not only does the national media do this, but even our own fan base has the tendency to put things out there that just blows our minds. Think back to 2 years ago and a year ago from today. How many NFL analysts said that Luck would never throw a football again? Well, we know how that turned out. Not many people in Colts Nation believed that nonsense. We were more worried about what he would be able to do post-surgery and not as much worried about whether he would ever play again. This was all because Chris Ballard was keeping us in the loop of what was going on. We weren't able to get much out of Andrew Luck because he was still dealing with it, but Chris Ballard told us without hesitation every step of the way what was going on, even if he didn't give us a full extent of the injury. Ultimately, some people were still in doubt, but most knew that Ballard was bringing us in the right direction. Now, after a successful 2018 season, the Colts are looking to improve even more. This team is extremely young and still rebuilding, which leaves them room to grow. However, it all felt like it grinded to a slight halt when we were informed that Andrew Luck had suffered a calf strain and would not be able to participate for the majority of spring and even summer workouts. While this was a setback, we did all take some comfort in knowing it wasn't a shoulder injury. However, it makes things more difficult for this Colts team. If Luck isn't practicing that much, then it may take him a couple weeks to get back into football shape, and will take him a little bit more time to build chemistry with his team. These were questions that we previously answered, and they are legitimate arguments. However, after what's now been 4 long months, we realize that Andrew Luck still needs a little more time to heal. There is some good news for the Colts fans, though. Hours before the Colts' second preseason game against the Browns, we saw a video of Andrew Luck doing drills that involved a lot of pressure and steps on his calf. He did all this flawlessly, while also laughing and smiling, knowing he was able to do the drills with what seemed to be minimal pain. So even though Luck isn't fully ready to go yet, it certainly looks as though he is feeling a lot better, and his movements on the field are starting to show that. Now, I could definitely go into a lot more of the anatomy of this injury and a lot of other ways to show you why we shouldn't worry about Andrew Luck's injury, but we can always save that for another day. But before this video, however, there were many Colts fans that were saying that Luck, Ballard, Irsay, and all the Colts staff were lying to us about Luck's injury this whole time. Some were even saying that, or still saying that now. Some have even advocated for Luck to sit while Brissett starts the season, even if Luck is fully healthy and ready to go. So my first question, Colts Nation, is why? Why would the Colts staff lie to us? They have never lied to us before about Luck's injuries in the past, especially the more severe one from 2 years ago. Injuries can get re-aggravated, and sometimes take sudden turns for the worse when we least expect them. If you want to blame Andrew Luck for being too anxious to get back out there and re-injuring himself, then you make a point. But stop with the nonsense that the Colts organization is lying to us about and keeping us from knowing something that they supposedly do. And stop questioning Andrew Luck's mental toughness. This guy has been through so much. This offseason, he's been through the best offseason of his entire career up until the cap injury. This man got married. This guy is making money. He's doing everything. And not to mention, if he was able to get through what he did with his shoulder injury, we all know how much of a toll that took on his mind and on his body, then he can certainly get through this. My second question to you is, why should Brissett start over Luck? I love Jacoby Brissett. We all do. We all appreciate him being there all the time, being there prepared to take the number one reps when needed, and he's been doing all that. I appreciate it very, very much. But this is the NFL, folks. The best player will play if he is healthy, and that is what Andrew Luck is. I think Jacoby Brissett is a valuable asset to this team in many more ways than just the one. He's a great teammate, a great guy in the organization that helps the community, and he certainly can ball. However, Luck should and will start week 1 if he is healthy and ready to go. On the second part of this argument, on another side note to it, it seems that many of us are overreacting to these preseason games by the Colts. Look, everyone, we all don't like preseason games, okay? Injuries are confirming that for everyone. These are games for everyone on the team to get live reps, to impress the coaches, to get more playing time, and to try to make the roster. So what if we don't win these games? Do they count towards our record? Last I checked, no, they don't. The Browns have always been preseason champs as of recently, but look how they do in the regular season. Now, I know context is different now, but they went 4-0 last year in the preseason, and look at where they ended up. Let's take this for what it is, folks. It's just a bunch of guys out there who are looking to improve and impress. Not everyone is playing, and coaches are not going to show their full playbooks in the preseason. So the play calling will be bland at times, and performance will be bland at times. There's a reason it's called preseason. These guys are out here playing, learning from their mistakes, and getting better. So let's stop with the Andrew Luck hysteria. Now that we have new evidence to show he is almost there, and let's stop overreacting to preseason games and just start looking at the positives that we can see. As of what we saw a giant jump in this Colts team from week 1 at Buffalo to week 2 against the Browns. This has been the Hold Your Horses segment of the Cody Felger podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to give us feedback on this segment and any other segments in the future. Be sure to tune in next time, and as always, go Colts!